Hi everyone, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the newbie tag. It's my first video on this channel, so I'm really excited to, put this out there and get involved in the booktube world. As you can see, I don't have a library behind me. Right now I'm in a transition period. I'm going to be moving soon, so all of my books are packed away. And so, farther down the line, you'll get to see me, put all my bookshelves together and figure out how I'm going to put everything up. But for now, I'm going to take you to my favorite fantasy places in each of my videos. So today we're in Hobbiton. Yeah, so question number 1 on the newbie tag is, why did you start your channel? And so I really was just inspired by all of the people that I watch on BookTube and by the people that I've met through the Discord that I belong to, the Library of Alexandria. There's a lot of people on there who started their own channels and made me feel like it's worth it even if you don't have thousands and thousands of subscribers. And I just felt like I really wanted to be a part of the community. Okay, so number 2. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? So for me personally, I am about to be a medical student. I'm starting school in the fall, and because of my love of science and medicine, I like to translate that into my books. I tend to read a lot of books that are nonfiction, science, medicine, healthcare, philosophy. I really like those types of things, along with my fantasy and sci-fi books. So I'm hoping to do a book a month that's in that realm and then be able to review it and share it with you guys. And so it'd kind of be a book review / informative video. This month I am actually reading a book called Women in White Coats, written by Olivia Campbell, and it's pretty good so far. It's about the 3 major first female physicians in America, and about their struggles and how they were able to break through that glass ceiling. And also it talks about just in general how women fought for the right to become physicians in the US. I'm reading it on audiobook, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about audiobook yet. This is my second time trying it, and I don't know if I love it. I'm going to give it a good couple books try. But I find that I tend to get distracted when I'm listening to audiobooks, and then I either have to rewind a lot or I just don't follow the story quite well. So I'm going to give it a shot, but if not, I just, prefer paperbacks, Question number 3. What are you excited about for your BookTube channel? For me, the number 1 thing is just connecting with people. I don't have a lot of friends that read a ton, so it's nice to have other people to talk to and to be able to, rant if I hate something or really gush if I love something, and give recommendations and give reviews. And I'm also excited to become more comfortable in front of a camera. I think it's really good. Well, I don't want to say practice because, I'm putting myself out there, but I think it's just a good skill to have. And I know that BookTube and being able to do these and having something I really, really love talking about just makes it easier, and it's going to help me be more confident on screen and probably in my real life. So question number 4, I don't know why I'm putting my fingers up, I just am, is why do you love reading? And this one I could probably gush about for a long time, so I will keep myself on time. Really, it's all about escapism for me. I'm an only child. I grew up in neighborhoods that didn't have a ton of kids in them, and so I spent a lot of my childhood reading, and it's been such an important part of who I am and my personality and how I developed into the adult that I am today, by reading these stories and learning through all these characters that I loved. And I think because I was an only child, I didn't have as much communication and practice and just interaction with other people all the time, especially kids my age, because I didn't live near any, really. And I feel like I learned a lot through the stories that I read about people and about society and culture and interacting with others. And I think that kind of helped me, integrate more into school and, have social skills. It also kept me from being lonely when I was a kid. And I don't know many people who really like to talk about that, but only children can be a little lonely. And so I loved to read because I got to be with other people. I got to experience new things and go new places and feel things that I didn't get to feel in my real life because I got to read them. And so I loved it so much, and that's just carried through to my adult life. And it's so important to me. I spent a lot of time not reading when I was in college. There were probably like 4 or 5 years where I barely read anything that wasn't required, and it was all scientific journal articles and weird short stories for my lit classes. And I didn't realize until a couple years ago when I read, The Name of the Wind, actually, and kind of brought me just back to the fantasy world, that I realized that there was a part of me that was missing, and that part of me was the part that loved to read. And now that I have that back, I feel like a more complete person. That was very personal. Sorry, guys. Oh, my last point. I took notes so that I could make sure I talked about everything I wanted to. And the last reason why I really, really love reading and why I think it's important that people do it is because the act of writing and the act of reading, it's a way to explore the human condition in ways that we might not get to in real life. And especially when you're reading sci-fi or fantasy or things that have fantastical elements, you have the ability to explore the human condition in different ways. Also, because you're not, committing those acts as a person, you don't necessarily have to deal with the consequences of those. So you're able to explore that. And I don't know, I feel like it's really important for people to do. Question number five is, what books or series got you into reading? And so it was all when I was a kid, and I read, those Ginny B. Jones books, or like the Boxcar Children, the Babysitter's Club. I'm probably telling you my age by mentioning those. Tamara Pierce is another one. I really love the Song of the Lioness Quartet. That I probably should reread that soon. And Laura Ingalls Wilder books, but probably like the defining book series of my childhood that really got me hooked was Harry Potter. I think it's a generational thing, and I just clung to that like my life depended on it, and I love Harry Potter so much. I actually have Harry Potter tattoos, which I'm not going to show you, but I love it so much. And being able to grow up with the characters, like I feel like my generation really had like that sweet spot, because I read the first book when I was 10, and it had only been out for a couple years. And so as I aged, Harry and the crew aged, and I just think it was really sweet how that ended up for me and other people my age. Oh yeah, the last thing, what really got me into reading, I love to read, and then I kind of exploded as a reader in elementary school because we had this program called Accelerated Reader. And I don't know if any of you guys had that program. I think it's probably just a US thing, so my friends from overseas probably don't know what that is. But Accelerated Readers, for each book is like assigned a point value, and usually the larger the book, the more points that it's worth. And then you read the book, and then you log into a computer system, and then you take a little quiz on it, and depending how well you do on the quiz, you get a certain amount of points. And then at the end of the year or quarter or whatever, like, you get a prize, and there's rankings and stuff. And I was a competitive child, and I needed to be number one. So I read like crazy. I remember The Goblet of Fire was worth 100 points, and I was so proud of myself when I finished that book. I was so proud. But anyway, question 6. What challenges will you face starting BookTube? Another serious question. One would be my own fear and my own self kind of getting in the way. I tend to be really self-conscious. I'm one of those people who like wants what they present to the world to be perfect. and I know that it's not going to be. And also like self-conscious with like showing my face on the screen and everything. It's just getting used to seeing myself out there and putting myself out in a way where, you know, anybody can watch this on YouTube and I don't have control over what people think of me. So that will be a challenge to kind of just get over that fear. The second one is probably going to be balancing my schedule. Like I said, I'm going to be in school and it's going to be really rigorous. And so it's like there's two parts to that. One, reading and having booktube during school is going to keep me doing something that I love so that I'm not stressing myself out too much and I'm not studying all the time and not doing anything for myself. So reading and having a booktube channel and forcing myself to have to put out those videos and do the work and do the reading is going to help me do self-care for myself and keep myself sane in school. The other part of the double-edged sword is that it's going to be challenging balancing that. So how much studying versus how much reading I can do. I know studying is going to be way, way up there. So that's going to be kind of a trial and error thing. That being said, my channel probably will put out less content than a lot of other people's. I'll probably be doing maybe a video a week, maybe a couple of videos every 2 weeks, just because I won't have as much time. And I want my content to be quality. So that's kind of the downfall of doing this while in school. Question 7, where do you read? So I wish I could read in Hobbiton, but because I don't live in New Zealand, I read really wherever I can right now. Like I said, I'm in a transition period, so I'm not living in my own space right now. So I spend a lot of time, you know, outside in the backyard with my dogs, just spending quality time with them before I'm studying all the time. And I'm on the couch, chair, in my bed, in the car when I'm, you know, waiting for someone. But I don't really have a specific spot. 8, when did you start reading? As soon as humanly possible, as soon as I learned how to read, I was reading. Hi, Milla. Sorry, my dog just woke up. Yeah, I've just been reading for as long as I can remember, and I will read for the rest of my life, and if I go blind, I will learn how to read in Braille. So that is the plan. I will never not read. And number 9, which is the last question, is what kind of books do you like to read? I primarily read science fiction and fantasy, mostly fantasy. That's what my channel is going to focus on most. Like I said earlier, I do like to read, you know, things about science, medicine, and philosophy. I really enjoy things that kind of make my mind twist around. And I also really love thrillers, though I haven't read a lot of them recently. I love Tana French. She does the Dublin Murder Squad books. I don't know if any of you've read those, but that's kind of the vibe that I like. But I'll read anything as long as it's interesting to me. Classics, contemporary fiction. I'll try something in another language if I learn another language. I'm just really open for anything. I think the only thing I don't particularly like is self-help books, just because I'm stubborn, I guess. Or westerns and like really, really sappy like Bridgerton romances. I might try one of those. I did watch the TV show. I can't help myself, but it's just not really my speed. I'd rather have like a romantic YA fantasy story that kind of fills that slot for me instead of like a soapy romance novel. So that's really all the questions that there are. I can't really think of anything else to divulge to you, but I wish my dogs were visible, but I'll just pet them for you. I'm really excited to start my channel and a little nervous to put myself out there, but I can't wait to talk to you guys again, and I'll see you next time.